So we are going to go over the homework from, today's Thursday, so from Tuesday. And then you're going to work on a review. I'm also going to give you the answers to the review because we have a quiz tomorrow, okay, over what we've learned in Chapter 7. So I'm going to go over its expressions. What's an expression? Elise? Yeah, number sentence without an equal sign. So if I say the product of 4 and x, I can even throw in some variables. What expression am I describing? The product of 4 and x. Fisher?
4 times x equals?
Not equals, just 4 times x. Stop. No equal sign, okay? So doing that, what else do you think is going to be on there? Addie? Yeah, order of operation problems where you are evaluating them or getting to a single digit or single number. Addie B, got something else? Yeah, and coordinate planes, ordered pairs. And that's it, okay? So the plan was initially to do this review in the book yesterday, check it today, and then I was just going to give you some IXL skills to practice today. And you were going to share a Chromebook with a partner. So we're still doing the same stuff. It's just we won't do the extra IXL review, okay? So we're going to go over this. I'm going to give you the review assignment for you to start on, and I'm giving you the answer. So as you're working, I want you checking them. If you have questions, what should you do? Ask, okay? Ask. Okay, number 1, who can help me here? What are the ordered pairs from the table? Wyatt, can you give me the ordered pairs you came up with from the table?
1 and 10.
So 1, 10. Good job. Keep going.
2, 1.
2, 1.
3, 6.
3, 6.
4, 2.
4, 2.
5, 7.
5, 7.
6, 8.
6, 8. Okay, who can help me graph those? Hutley.
1, 10, you go over 1 and up 10.
Yeah, we go to the right to the 1 and then up to the 10, which would be about right there. 2, 1. Why was this one harder to graph, Fisher?
Because there's no 1 on the y-axis.
So there's no 1 label. Does that mean it doesn't exist? No, where is it, Fisher? Where is 1?
Like halfway between the 2 and the 0.
Yeah, because if that's 0 and that's 2, our common sense brain says, hey, 1 has to be right in the center. So we go over to the 2 and up just about halfway. Can we be perfect if we're putting them in the center? No, but we can give a pretty close estimation on where it goes. Okay, 3, 6. Braylon, how do I get to 3, 6?
You go over 3 and then up 6.
Okay, to the right 3 and then up to the 6. Good job. Make that dot a little bit bigger. 4, 2. Ava?
You go over 4 and up 2.
Over to the 4, up to the 2. Jackson, 5, 7.
Go over 5 and go up in the middle of 8 and 6.
Good job. Right between 6 and 8. And the last one, Elias, 6, 8.
Over 6 and up to 8.
Over 6 up to the 8. Why is this graph a little bit different than the other ones? This coordinate plane a little bit different than the other ones we've done, Elise?
Because this one on the y-axis is counting by 2.
Okay, but some of them the other day were counting by 2s or 3s or 10s. Fisher?
It looks like a plus sign in the middle.
Okay, this one, there was a darker line. I think that was just the way it printed. You're right, that looks a little bit different. Hutley?
They didn't go like up and up.
Yeah, they didn't kind of go in a pattern. Usually when we graph them, they kind of go up in a straight line. But that's dependent upon what your graph is about, okay? On this one, it was about the year and the boxes of pen used. So let's say year 1, they used the most pens. They used a whole lot of pens. Year 2, what happened? They didn't use very many pens. We'll just say it was a COVID year and they did everything online. Okay? Could that be true? Yeah, something happened that resulted in them not needing to use pens. I don't know what this was. If it was school, maybe the teacher said no more pens. We're using pencils. So if we had a pencil chart next to it, maybe the pencil numbers went up and the pen numbers went down. We don't know. We just know that in year 2, they didn't use very many pens. What happened in year 3? It went up a little bit. What happened in year 4? Went back down. Year 5 and 6? It went up again, okay? So we don't get to decide what the graphs look like, but we should be able to read them and say, okay, in year 1, they used a whole lot. In year 2, they barely used any at all. Questions on that one? Okay, number 2. Carter, give me the coordinates, the ordered pairs that you came up with. 125, 235, 340, 415, and 5, 5. 125. Gabe, help me graph 125 or plot 125.
Go over 1 and up to 25.
Yeah, I go over to the 1 and then up to the 25. Next one, Elise.
Go over 2 and up to the 35.
Over to the 2, up to the 35. Clara, next one. Over to the 3, up to the 40. Okay, next one, Jackson.
Go over 4 and up to the 15.
Over 4, up to the 15. Kinley, last one.
Over 5 and then up 5.
Over 5, up 5. Okay, so this is days and texts sent. Who can describe what's happening on my graph? Kinley, go ahead.
It's like each day how many texts they send.
Okay, so what specifically is happening here? So it's the days and then how many texts are sent that day? So what's happening specifically? Who can answer that? Addie?
On day 1, 2, and 3 it goes up, and then day 4 it shoots back down.
Yeah, so on days 1, 2, and 3, the number of text messages increase, and then on day 4 it drops pretty drastic, and day 5 it drops like pretty much all the way down to hardly anything. So they went from having a little bit to say to having a lot to say to having nothing to say again. Okay? Questions on that one? Number 3. Okay. Pull that up. Oh, my dot just disappeared. Hold on, I gotta wait for so I can write. We'll just list the ordered pairs verbally. Elise, what are my ordered pairs?
1 and 10.
1 comma 10.
2, 4.
2, 4.
3, 12.
3, 12.
4, 2.
4, 2.
And 5, 14.
And 5, 14. Graph one of them for me. Braylon, give me the first one. How do I get there?
You go over 1 and then up 10.
Okay, over to the 1, up to the 10. I put my dot. Second one, Hutley.
Over 2 and up to the 4.
Okay, over to the 2, up to the 4. Ava, third one.
Over to the 3 and up to the 12.
Over to the 3, up to the 12. Augie, fourth one.
Go over to the 4 and up to the 2.
Up to the 2. Fisher, last one.
Go over to the 5 and up to the 14.
Good job. Who can describe what's happening here? Who can describe? Emma Kay, can you tell me what's going on that graph?
Like in the beginning, it goes high, and then in the second one, it goes a little bit lower, and then third, it goes high again. Fourth.
Yeah, so it kind of fluctuates up and down. And I tried to type this or write this out real quick. What did I forget on this graph that's pretty important? Carter?
The label.
Yeah, the label on the y-axis. So this is the number of ink cartridges used is what I should have wrote right there. Same thing on this one. YouTube videos watched. Should have gone right there. That helps us interpret the graph. Without that, we don't know what those numbers mean. So that is my mistake. Okay, number 4. I'm going to go ahead and just graph these because I think you got a pretty good... Oh, let's do this one together. Let's talk about it. Why do you think I want to talk about this one? Lexi?
Because one of them goes off the
Okay, one of them does go off the charts. What about the other ones? Did you have to do some estimating? Yeah, so Lexi, where would 1 comma 120 be?
It would go in the middle of 150 and 100.
Okay, so 150 and 100, I agree. So let's go over to 1. If there's a line here, and this is 0, what does that mean I'm counting by? Augie?
25.
I'm counting by 25s. A lot of times when they're counting by a larger number, they'll leave blank ones in the middle just so it's not so like crammed together and it's easier to read. So we're actually counting by 25s. So on this one, she's right. It would be between 100 and 150, but we can even be more specific. This one, if this is 100, this is what? 125. Where would our 120 be, Aiden?
Like a little below, just a little bit above the 100.
Above the 100 and below that 125. So yeah, if you have your dot somewhere between the 100 and 125, you are good. Okay, that one was a little bit trickier. 260. So here's 2. What would this marking be right there? 75. So we have to go between 50 and 75. So 260 would just be in there somewhere. 300. Where are we at? We're off the chart. So 3, just put it up there in 300 world. 150. Why do we like that one? It's right there. We don't have to think at all. 150 and 530. So this one's 25, so 30 would just be in there somewhere. That one was a little bit harder to do, but was it impossible? No. Questions on those? Okay, flip it to the back. Okay, so on this one, we had to do it start to finish. It said, Jarrett walks his puppy outside every day for 30 minutes. Angela walked her puppy every day for 90 minutes. Find the number of minutes that each puppy was walked for 1, 2, 3, and 4 days. Then graph the, I was supposed to white that out before I printed it because I rewrote it somewhere else, okay? So use the ordered pairs you found on the right and plot them below. Do one in pencil and one in colored pencil or pen. Label which is which. We have a table for Jarrett, we have a table for Angela, and then we have a question to answer. And McKay, where should we start?
You can start with like the days and the minutes.
Okay, yeah, we have to come up, fill in our table first, okay? 4 days for Jarrett. What days do I need to find? What days do I need to find? Hutley?
Day 1, day 2, day 3.
Yeah, 1 through 5. So 1, 2, 3. Was it 1 through 5 or 1 through 4? Okay. Did I have to find the same days for Angela? Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1. I'm going to change her color. I'm going to try and be consistent here. 3 and 4. What do we know about Jarrett? Braylon, what do we know about Jarrett?
The first day, he walked his puppy outside every day for 30 minutes.
Okay, so I know day 1, a total of 30 minutes. What would day 2 be, Elia?
60 minutes.
60 minutes. Good job. Wyatt, what about 3 days?
An hour and 30 minutes.
Okay, so 1 hour and 30 minutes is correct, but if we're doing,
90 minutes.
there we go. Good job. 90 minutes. And 4 days, Addie? 120. Okay, list the ordered pairs for Jarrett, and I put days, comma, there should have been a parenthesis there. Days, comma, minutes. So I'm just going to copy these down from our table. We'd have 130, 260, 390, and 120. Gabe, help me graph 1 comma 30. How do I get there? Yeah, I'd go over to the 1 and up 30. I'm going to put a red dot there. Elise, 260. Over to the 2, up to 60. Clara, 390. Over to 3, up to 90. Kenley, 4. Over to the 4, up to the 120. I'm almost done. What do I need to add, Jackson?
Angela's.
Okay, I do need to add Angela's, but before I do Angela's, before I put this down?
The minutes.
Elia?
You have to write with the dot.
Yeah, put a key so we know that my red marker means I'm talking about who? Jarrett. I'm just going to put it out here to the side saying my red dots are Jarrett. Okay, now I have to do Angela's. Jackson, what do we know about Angela?
One day equals 90 minutes.
Yeah, Angela walks her dog a whole lot longer. So 2 days, Addie J. 180. 3 days, Fisher. 270 minutes. And 4 days, Lexi. 360. Okay, so then our ordered pairs, 190, 2 180, 3 270, 4 360. Now let's graph them. We'd go over to the 1, up to the 90, over to 2, up to 180, 3 270, and 4 360. Just by looking at, oh, what did I forget? Key, add my key so we know blue is Angela. What can we tell just by looking at that graph, Augie? If I had nothing else and I just had to explain what the graph meant, what important information could I give?
Angela walks her dog a lot more than Jarrett.
Yeah, Angela walks her dog a lot more than Jarrett. So how many more minutes does Angela spend walking her dog over 2 days than Jarrett spends walking his dog over 2 days? What is my expression, Carter?
180 minus 60.
Yeah, 180 minus 60. I'm focusing on my line right here, my 2 days right there. So I look at Jarrett's or Angela's. Hers was 180. Jarrett's was 60. So he was correct, 120 minutes. 120 minutes. Because you'd look at 2 days. Jarrett was 180. Angela was 60. 180 minus 60 is 120 minutes. Questions on that one? Okay, let's go on down. Okay, this one had us do most of it, but they graphed it for us, and we had to match the graph. When you're matching a graph, my suggestion is pretend you're graphing it, because a lot of the points are correct, and then they probably just have like one off, and you get to, yep, that one's there, that one's there, that one's there, nope, that one's wrong. Mark it out and move on to the next graph. Okay, so this one we're making, what are we making? How much water they drink over a 4-day period. Who can give me Emily's numbers for her table? Hutley, go ahead.
For days, you write 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. What about cups?
And then cups, the first day is 6.
Okay.
The second is 12. The third is 18. And the fourth is 44.
Okay, good job. Jackie's table. Lexi, go ahead. Give me Jackie's table.
8, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Okay, good job. Okay, now it said use your table to help you select the graph that goes with this problem. Pretend you're graphing it. And how did they do their key? Theirs is slightly different. I know yours was black and white, so it's a little bit harder. Hutley?
They put their names on top.
Yeah, they put their names kind of in the middle of the graph. Do you see how that's kind of confusing? That's why we do it out to the side. So let's look for Emily, which is the blue dots up here, or the bottom dots, 1, 6. If I go over 1, could that blue dot be at 6? No, why not? Why can that blue dot not be at 6? Carter? Because, yeah, that line it's right on top of is 8. So if it was 6, it would be below that line. So that very first dot knocks that graph out. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm going to the next one. If I go over to 1, up to right there, could that be 1, 6? Yes, because it's between 4 and 8. Okay, let's keep going. 2, 12. Over to the 2, on to 12. Is that one good? Next one, 3, 18. Over 3, up to here. Could that dot be 3, 18?
Yes.
Okay, last one, 4, 24. Over to 4, up to there.
Yes.
Okay, so Emily is good. Does that mean the whole graph is good? No. Now we got to check Jackie. I'm going to change colors. I should have changed sooner. Jackie, 1, 8. Over to 1, up to 8. Is that dot good? Yes. 2, 16. Over 2, up to 16. Good. 3, 24. Good. 4, 32. Good. So this is our answer. Let's see what knocks this one out. Emily, 1, 6. Over 1. Now, could that one necessarily knock us out? No, because the dot is between 4 and 8, is 6 between 4 and 8. So we would probably want to keep going past that one. Let's look at the next one. 2, 16. Over 2, up 16. Is that one out? Nope, that's not even close. So that's the one that would knock us out. Does that make sense what we did there? Kind of process of elimination? Okay. So what you're going to do now for the rest of the time, you have about 20 minutes to work on this. In your book, I'll write this up on the board. Go ahead and open your book to page 538. .538, 539. Okay, this is review. Does all of that look like old stuff? Okay, over in the margin next to 6 through 11, over in the margin next to 6 through 11, you know what a margin is? Over on the side, I want you to write due on back of answer sheet. Okay, what kind of problems are those? 6 through 11. Order of operations. In just a second when you get started, I'm giving you this half sheet which has the answers to all of these problems on it. Do you have enough space to do those order of operation problems right there on that page? No. Do you think the back of this is big enough? Okay? If you need more space than this, what can you get out? You can get out loose leaf, but this should be sufficient for most of you. Okay, so you can just work them on the back. The rest of that page is pretty self-explanatory. I think you'll be fine. Okay, top of the next page. For number 21, I want you to mark it out. For number 22, I want you to write make a table. You may need to make it up in the margin, like where it says problem solving up at the top. There's a little bit of space. But for number 22, I want you to make a table. Okay, so you don't have to do 21. Make a table for 22. And that's the only extra directions that I needed to talk about. Okay? If you work a problem, maybe work 2 or 3, check them. See if you can fix it. Don't come to me right away and say, I missed number 7. What am I going to say? Did you rework it? If you said, yeah, I reworked it and I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong, then I will help, okay? Because most of our mistakes are what? Goofy, just little mistakes. We copied the problem wrong. We took 6 times 2 and got 8. Things like that. Okay? I'm going to pass out the answers. I want you guys to go ahead and get started. If you don't finish it, this is your homework, but what do we have tomorrow? What do you think is going to be on the quiz? This. So before we take the quiz, the first thing I will ask is, are there any of them that you could not get to the right answer last night? Okay, and I will help you. We'll work out any on the board that we need to before we take the quiz. Make sense?